I want to talk about Captain America. Holy shit. So we just saw Endgame.
Yes, we did.
And I have a lot of thoughts.
That was a 3-hour...
Yes.
Sorry, no. That was 3 1-hour movies.
Yeah, there you go. Whew. I feel like before I even get into thoughts, I need to just frame the movie in my brain. Everything I was reading up to this, most people were like, this movie is written itself in terms of what they're going to do to undo everything and just conclude everything. This seemed like it was just going to be copy-paste. Okay. I'm glad that they didn't go that exact route, but it is a 3-hour movie, and it felt like a 3-hour movie. Overall, I liked it. I did not love it.
I thought it was a very good conclusion to this chunk of Marvel.
Yes, and
it was a fitting send-off, like a good salute to everybody.
And to frame it more, I think they obviously wanted this to be a send-off to the entire first chunk, in that not only is it a send-off and then it concludes the main storyline, but they wanted to shoehorn's a bad word. It's not shoehorn, because I really do think they did. Nothing about this is bad. Everything is handled well, but there's just so much of it that it just got numbing after a while that I was just like, good Lord. But what they clearly wanted, do you remember that this movie concluded all these other things? They wanted you to say, oh crap, I forgot about him. And that worked, but oh my God, it was bloated.
I thought the pacing for what it needed to do and everything that was there, I thought the pacing was good.
I thought it was good. It started exactly how I wanted to do it. And that was just...
The beginning was awesome.
Slow.
But what I will say is my little jab at it was 3 1-hour movies. It was pretty... That was kind of my feeling of it. The first... Probably felt like the first hour. There was the first third of it. That was just the setup.
That was the setup. That was the spillage from Infinity War into the setup of this one.
Yep.
And overall, I liked that part a lot.
That part was fantastic.
I loved that they kind of like... They made it seem like we were going to make you stew in the fact that you lost.
Yeah.
And they approached that from... It almost seemed like going to your setup of... It felt like 3 different movies. It also felt like 3 different movies following the same kind of beats and that overarching thing, and then how does every character respond to it?
Yeah.
So in this first part, spillage over, everything's bad, half the population is truly gone.
Yeah.
They think we're just going to get the stones back, and that part I was legitimately surprised, like, oh crap, we're already going.
Yeah.
Like, we're already going to get Thanos.
Yeah.
Liked that scene of Thanos being the, like, almost like, I've won. You can do all you want to me. I've won. You can't. You cannot kill me. You cannot undo everything. So eventually, everyone's faced the reality of we are stuck in this for now, and how every single person interprets that reality. You realize that life, despite the fact that half the population is gone, life is going on. Captain America is continuing to be Captain America.
That freaking like therapy scene
with a Russo brother cameo.
That was exactly what Cap would do in that situation.
I'm going to rewind something I said forever ago when Chris Evans first was cast as Captain America. Captain America, for those playing the home game, is my favorite comic book character. And my worry with him was that on paper, he's the easiest character to do. He's just pure good.
Yeah.
But that worried me because I was like, someone is going to bungle this. They're not going to be able to do this right.
Yeah.
And they did it in a more beautiful way by contrasting him so well. No matter how dark things get, he is just this beacon of resiliency. And I love that. Yeah. And the cracks that they showed in that philosophy of this, like the trailer line that he says, like, this is going to work because if it doesn't, I'm out of options. Everything I am has failed. Cap is delicious in this movie. Yeah. I like that Iron Man was kind of the one to be like, no, I'm actually kind of got what I wanted out of this. Like, I finally have an excuse to settle down. I have my family. Yeah. Things are going great. Whereas virtually everyone else is either broken by the reality or is trying to undo the reality of the situation that they're in, and that was fine.
Yeah, it was good. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, but yeah. So that for the first part, it works great. Life goes on, and then one of the more confirmed ideas a lot of people had was that Scott, Ant-Man, coming out of the quantum realm is going to be the reason that they're able to do some time travel thing.
Absolutely, and that made sense, of course.
Yeah, that made sense.
Foreshadowed a bit, so.
And then we pick up to me, the weakest part of the movie, the most bloated, and that is the middle section of them going back into movies past.
The middle section was so. It was fine.
Michael, what happens in the middle section of the movie?
Middle of the movie is movie number 2 of this movie, which is the heist movie.
So I'm going to set the scene. At this point, the Avengers were like, we're just going to get the stones and undo it. They can't. Thanos destroyed all the stones. So at this point, they're SOL. They're like, what are we going to do? Through Scott coming back, they realize that they can go use the quantum realm to go back in time to all the points where they know the stones are, get them to then undo it.
Yeah, but of course plot things so they only have X amount of Pym particles, so they each only go back and forward once.
Yeah.
There's no messing this up. So you gotta do it. You
gotta do it.
You gotta do it. So
they break off into the little teams.
Yep, so they break off into teams to go. They figure out that they can go to 3 separate places and get all the Infinity Stones. So that's what they're gonna do. And it's a heist. It's a time heist, basically, and it's kind of
branded as such.
Yeah, it is literally branded as such, and it is very fine. Things are going, of course, well, but you knew that something had to go wrong,
right?
Because they couldn't end it with just getting all the stones and everyone being hunky dory and moving on. So you knew something had to go wrong.
But that, going back to the original point, the original thing we're talking about, that is where they bulk in all of the references, the callbacks. That is all just
It's, hey, remember Hulk going mad? Remember them doing this? Remember Loki?
Remember Tony Stark's dad? Remember Captain America loves. Which again, I feel like it sounds like we're being over negative on this. None of these are bad.
No,
it's just so much. It's just too much of a good thing
to be bookended by such great parts. The middle where it's just like gotta get the plot going. Get the plot going. Was kind of ultimately disappointing. I think is the best word for it. Like, it wasn't bad, it just wasn't as good.
But what was nice is that it wasn't wasted.
Correct.
Everything had a purpose. They wanted Iron Man to bump into his dad specifically to bookend his personal arc of fatherhood. That's his, the themes of family run into this really well again. Probably my favorite scene in the middle part was Black Widow dying.
Oh yeah, we did.
And my heart said, don't let this happen, because good Lord, we need more. We know we're getting a Black Widow movie.
Yeah.
And I knew it was a prequel, so my brain was like, they could kill her, and there's no attachment to it. But my heart was like, don't, because Lord knows they do need more female-led superheroes, and killing one of them off, no matter how well you do it, is never going to fall perfectly for me. I knew the second they got to the top of the Soul Stone Tower, I was like, they're both going to volunteer. They both realize that this is what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And it got me, because I was like, Hawkeye's going to do it. Yeah. Hawkeye's going to do it, and he's going to take the bullet, and he's going to kind of arc him. He's at his lowest point. Whatever. But the whole Ronin thing didn't completely hit with me of like, oh, you've turned to the dark side. But they wanted to feel it. But
it was fine. Yeah.
But it made me feel things. I do love Black Widow as a character, and I don't think she got enough of screen time.
No. It was so the one problem with that part especially was that it was like, as I've been fighting for it was the same thing that happened with Gamora, and I feel like the Gamora one was more of a punch, like you don't see it coming.
Yes.
Like they really built up to it really well. This one, once they kind of get there, you're like, oh, there's 2 of them. You're gonna have to sacrifice one.
Yeah.
And then, so when they showed her, lying there, I was like, this is definitely sad, because she's a great character, and I have loved her in all of the Avengers movies. Yeah. But at the same time, it didn't quite have the same emotional punches as the Gamora's death, because it was
the main thread of that whole middle part is not only do they get the stones, but Thanos knows that they're doing it.
Yes.
Which is clearly because, well, future Thanos is dead. What are they gonna have the big CGI fight against? And not only is Thanos dead, but Thanos' arc is already ended. Which I appreciate the competency to let that sit. Like, no, we don't want to retroactively make Thanos a different kind of villain. We're going to bring back a Thanos, though, when he's much more, like, bloodthirsty, when he's much more, like, I need to get these now. We kind of start with him as his most, like, sure and confident of himself, but having him be like, no, I'm a little bit more psychopathic now because I'm learning my ways kind of thing. But yeah, so we get everyone together, so we're going to have our big finale.
And they did a fine enough job of focusing on specific characters at specific times of the battle, and what the best thing they did was from the beginning create a clear goal,
guiding
clear
point,
incentive. It was, we need to get this from point A to point B. And that's what you're following, basically.
This being the Iron Man gauntlet. So
the Iron Man,
that has all the Infinity Gauntlets. They have a great guiding point through it, which I'm gonna go back to originally said, like, this is more or less the blueprint of Infinity War again over this, because that's how Infinity War ended. There was a big, a big fight at the end. Only that was more about we got to keep people away. This is more like we're more in a fight that has some stakes right now.
Playing rugby.
They're playing keep away with Thanos. As far as big CGI fest, the spectacle of it all was not as impressive to me, but the character moments were.
So backing up a little bit before the actual big CGI fest, honestly, probably the coolest shot in the movie, as well as coolest, most fun moment in the movie, was Steve Rogers and the hammer.
Yes! Which
they teased, obviously, a while ago, and then they finally got back to it. And then it led into that shot of Steve standing there, and then Thanos and the army behind him, and the ship in the background, and the lighting. I was like, and then,
that was a beautiful shot.
Obviously, it was cloudy, except for where Steve was. There was the sun, because he's the beacon of hope. Hope. Just beautiful, like, setup shot.
Yes.
Like, painting. Wonderful.
Yes, that was
in my opinion,
the use of light in that last battle is really well done.
So that was wonderful.
As far as CG Fest go, this was not meant to be Avengers 1 Battle of New York, where it's meant to just be in awe of how the intensity of it all. This is not meant to be a popcorn. This was meant to be stakes. You see them trying to get this little gauntlet back, and having the fight go from there. And of course, we get all those character moments, which of course ends with the most character moment of all.
The one that was telegraphed and everyone kind of knew was coming, but they did in just a wonderful way. Seeing Pepper Potts
don the suit again.
Getting in that wonderful
Ironheart, I believe is her suit name.
I actually don't know. That was it was great seeing her put on the suit again. And that was also kind of a plot device of getting her to the battle so that
she could have her goodbye.
And boy, was that just beautiful.
I love that, in the series because let's be honest, Tony Stark was not looking good. This was not a heroic, battle. This was, I'm actively dying. He looks horrible. I love that in the realm of all right, you say goodbye, all right, you say goodbye, you say goodbye. It was Spider-Man first because that perfectly caps his theme of his being a surrogate dad. But I feel like I say this every time, but I legitimately mean it. I love Tom Holland as Spider-Man so much. Because when he hits those emotional notes, he hits them so well. And to have him shoulder his death in the terms of I could have done better. I'm so sorry. I still disappointed you. Was just, that's what, that got me. I knew Pepper Potts was going to have the tearful goodbye. But that was smart to get that first.
And then Pepper comes in, and honestly, it was, for me, that was probably the one that got me the most.
It was
different. I think Gwyneth Paltrow did a wonderful job. Just acting that.
And I don't say that often, that Gwyneth Paltrow did a wonderful acting job.
The fact of the matter is, she did a wonderful job acting in this. And the writing there, too, of what she says and when she says it and how she says it. Just so good. It was literally just so touching. You
almost expect her to be the doting wife, in his arms, but she almost is strong for him.
She was like, you can go.
I'm letting you go. You did your job. We're gonna be okay.
Okay.
That was that really kicked me.
And of course, I teared up
when Hulk needs to get the time stone, and he's like, we know Doctor Strange is, but Doctor Strange isn't there yet because that hasn't happened yet. It's Tilda Swinton, it's the Ancient One, and he has to convince her to give up the stone. To which she says, no, like if you take the stone away, that might save your reality, but it's going to ultimately ruin our reality potentially.
And potentially a bunch of other ones.
We can't do that. And he's like, okay, well, if we do what we need to do and then bring all the stones back to their original area, then your reality...
Not just area, but the exact moment.
The exact moment that we took them.
No passage time.
Yes, then your future, no one will ever know.
Yeah.
They pick up that at the very end where they are going to send Cap back with Mjolnir now to go get the stones back. Yeah. They send him back, and great little frame scene because they establish that Hulk says, oh, well, I mean, he's going to be gone forever as long as we know, and his time, as long as he wants to be, but it's going to be like 5 seconds to us.
So,
and they've had a couple of scenes throughout the movie where they show that and not just tell it, where they send them back and then counts it down, he comes back. Shoots him back, counts it down, he's not coming back. And they look off by there, which I guess he snuck in. I don't know.
Well, he was probably already there.
He was already there. He knew they were going to do that.
Yeah.
And we have old Captain America, which
was either some really good CGI, some really good prosthetics.
Or both. He went back. He presumably did everything. He got the stones back, because why wouldn't he?
Yeah.
And then he lived out his life with Peggy, got his first dance, the lovely little callback. They didn't need to say it, but, that's from the very first Captain America. I forgot to hold that dance, Peggy.
Yeah.
That was wonderful. And I'm really glad that that's the final scene of the movie. Yep. That's the last shot we see.
And that song goes right into the credits.
Yep. And that was a good wind down, a good positive moment. I really thought that it was going to be Cap dying and Robert Downey Jr., Iron Man, retiring, but I got that wrong. Yeah. But overall, that was a nice scene. And he passes the shield on. I thought it was going to be to Bucky, but both characters canonically have been Cap at one point. Falcon has been too. That's even more. That's perfect. I have no qualms with that whatsoever.
Anthony Mackie.
I do love Anthony Mackie. Overall, Michael, this movie was the most hype movie of all time, or at least of recent history. Did Endgame deliver?
Yes. I don't think you can rationally say it did not deliver on the hype. It was not, in and of itself, in the plot, in the action, in the story, a disappointment. There were disappointing pieces. There were kind of weaker moments, of course, because there always are, because weaker is a relative term, so there are always going to be weaker moments. And there were even arguably weak moments. Just a
lot of moments.
But there were so many moments. But anyway, but yeah, it delivered. It did absolutely do a great job of closing this whole story out for the first phase of just like the original Avengers and all that they've done, and it really just hammered that home with emotion, with comedy. Comedy was probably the weakest part about this, actually, which is weird.
It did have it, though.
It did have it.
They tried.
And just extraordinarily well done. I mean, bravo to just everybody involved with the entirety of the MCU.
It's so easy because we've been in it so long. Yeah. But I was thinking about this the other day. Every time I see, shots of from the original Iron Man, I think of how young I was when that first one came out, and how the concept of a shared universe, let alone one that's been going on this long, let alone that's one that's been going on for this long and been consistently good.
Yeah.
I cannot be more impressed with what they've done. Now, we were, previously discussing this, of like, they're not done. They're going to keep making these.
Of course,
the finality is a little bit relative because they've decided that this is, but this definitely does feel like the bookend of a monumental achievement that will never be touched.
Thanks for watching. Stick with the channel, press that subscribe button, whatever, you know the deal. You know how it works.
Follow us on the Twitter, whatever you want to do. We want to keep making these, and, unfortunately, when big movies come out, they often tend to have Marvel in front of them, which we don't want to, just be defined by that, but damn, these movies are good.
Yeah,
and this one was no exception.
And this is probably one of the biggest to ever come out in recent times. So yes, we kind of had to see it for sure.
Yeah. But yes, thanks for looking. Share it around with your friends.
Yep.
Disagree with us. If you disagree or agree, by all means post a comment. Let us know what you think. Tell us why we're wrong and dumb. And if not, then you like us, and that's even better. But yeah, have a good one.